The path to personal transformation. Cultivating focus, discipline, and self-awareness for lasting success. Consider this crucial insight. The approaching year 2026 is not some mystical turning point where all challenges miraculously resolve themselves and every aspiration automatically materializes. Instead, it stands as a blank canvas, eagerly awaiting the masterpiece of the person you proactively decide to become, starting today. Therefore, before embarking on the typical flurry of crafting elaborate plans, setting ambitious goals, making grand resolutions, or meticulously curating vision boards, it is imperative to pause. Take a genuinely deep breath and intentionally direct your attention inward. If the cycle of attempting to mend every external aspect of your life persists without first diligently working on your inner landscape, you will inevitably find yourself trapped in the same exhausting, unproductive patterns that have held you captive for far too long. What you truly require is not another fleeting "New Year, New Me" declaration. What is fundamentally essential is unwavering, deeply intentional daily focus on yourself. A messy, real, consistent dedication to your personal growth and well-being. The fundamental truth is stark and empowering. No external force or individual is poised to intervene and rescue you. No one will arrive at your doorstep to bestow upon you the discipline, the vital energy, or the profound clarity you've been passively awaiting. These indispensable qualities are not gifts to be received, they are cultivated. You are the sole architect of these internal strengths, choosing to forge them every single morning when you consciously decide to cease endless scrolling, to stop detrimental comparisons, to silence self-doubt, and to courageously begin taking action. For an extended period, you might have habitually placed everyone else's needs, their schedules, and their opinions ahead of your own. This might have offered a sense of perceived safety or provided a convenient means to momentarily avoid confronting your own reflection. However, a pivotal understanding must emerge. It is simply impossible to construct your most authentic and fulfilling life while simultaneously neglecting the very person who is destined to live it. Directing your focus toward yourself is not an act of selfishness. It is an absolute necessity. When you elevate your mindset, cultivate positive habits, and actively nurture your inner peace, a ripple effect begins, transforming everything in your periphery. It is time to shed the habit of perpetually waiting for external validation or permission to prioritize your own well-being. Stop apologizing for aspiring to achieve more, for wanting a life of greater depth and impact. Cease the internal dialogue that talks you out of realizing your immense potential. You are not obligated to have every single detail meticulously planned out or perfectly understood. What you fundamentally need is the courage to identify and take the very next right step. Perhaps this involves initiating a new morning routine, waking up a little earlier to carve out time for yourself. It could be about establishing a clear boundary with another person to protect your invaluable time and energy. Or it might simply be the profound admission that the version of yourself that continues to play small, that shrinks from challenges, has no place in the vibrant landscape of 2026. Ahead of you lie 365 days, a significant span of time to demonstrably prove to yourself that sustained focus consistently triumphs over sporadic bursts of motivation. You do not need to feel entirely ready or perfectly equipped. You simply need to begin. Undertake one small, purposeful action today, an action that subtly yet significantly moves the needle forward for you. When 2026 finally arrives, the aspiration is not for you to gaze backward with a pang of regret, wishing you had only started sooner. Instead, the goal is for you to stand firmly grounded, imbued with justifiable pride, radiating an unshakable resolve, and declare with conviction, "I did not idly wait for life to change around me. I proactively changed myself for life." Shift your focus inward, not postponing it until tomorrow or next year, but commencing right now. If genuine transformation before 2026 is your earnest desire, then you must bravely cease running from yourself. That is precisely where the journey truly commences. Authentic transformation does not originate from an intricate, elaborate strategic plan. nor from a perfectly curated morning routine, nor from a collection of motivational quotes saved on your digital device. It begins with the profound, often uncomfortable act of standing before a mirror and engaging in radical honesty about your current reality. This process, while undeniably uncomfortable, is essential. It is often far easier to remain perpetually busy, to immerse oneself in the dramas of others, or to drown out one's own internal thoughts with an incessant stream of external noise and distractions. Yet if your earnest desire is for the coming year to unfold differently, you must stop actively avoiding your own reflection. Self-reflection in its purest form is the very practice that a majority of individuals tend to bypass precisely because it lacks glamour. It is not an activity that lends itself to aesthetically pleasing social media posts. It is raw, often messy, and demands that you confront truths that you might have conveniently ignored for some time. However, consider this vital perspective. Actively ignoring your inner self does not, in fact, protect you. On the contrary, it maintains your stagnation. It traps you within repetitive patterns, perpetuates the same tired excuses, and leads you to mistakenly label circumstances as fate, when, in truth, they are manifestations of unresolved fear. The underlying reason for feelings of being lost, unfulfilled, or disconnected is not that life is inherently unfair. It stems from a profound misalignment with your authentic self, having consistently pursued external validation at the expense of heeding your internal compass. When was the last occasion you truly sat down with yourself and earnestly posed the question, what do I genuinely want? Not what your parents anticipate, nor what your employer expects, nor what simply appears impressive to others, but what you, at your deepest core, truly desire. Most individuals struggle to answer this question without considerable hesitation, having spent so much time operating on autopilot that they have lost the profound connection required to check in with their inner being. This is precisely the transformative power of self-reflection. It meticulously reconnects you to your authentic inner voice. And that voice, the subtle, often quiet one you might repeatedly push away, already possesses the inherent wisdom regarding the direction you need to take. But let's be entirely forthright. Self-reflection is not merely about idle daydreaming. It does not entail journaling only pleasant thoughts or creating an aesthetically pleasing vision board while leisurely sipping coffee. It demands radical honesty. It involves acknowledging the precise role you might have played in perpetuating your own struggles. It means holding yourself accountable when you've succumbed to laziness, been unduly distracted, or allowed fear to dictate your actions. This process is inherently difficult, often feeling like a punch to the gut. However, individuals who genuinely transform their lives do not retreat from these uncomfortable truths. They confront them directly, head-on. They engage with the challenging questions and intentionally sit within the discomfort long enough to unearth the profound answers. It is simply impossible to heal what you stubbornly refuse to examine. You cannot effectively rectify habits that you fail to acknowledge. You cannot genuinely grow from experiences that you pretend never occurred. Therefore, before the advent of 2026, your primary task is not to achieve an elusive state of perfection. Rather, it is to profoundly know yourself, understand what systematically drains your precious energy and what consistently fuels it, discern who authentically uplifts you and who subtly pulls you down, recognize which environments allow you to truly thrive and which ones cause you to shrink. Once these insights are clearly understood, sustained focus becomes significantly more accessible. You cease indiscriminately scattering your attention across myriad directions, because you finally comprehend what genuinely merits your invaluable time and effort. Self-reflection can be likened to a meticulous cleaning out of your mental closet. Initially, it feels utterly overwhelming. You metaphorically open the door and everything, regrets, insecurities, past mistakes, lingering fears, comes tumbling out. You are confronted with aspects you would much rather avoid. Yet, as you begin the arduous but rewarding process of sorting through it piece by piece, something truly incredible begins to unfold. You create space for profound clarity, space for a renewed sense of purpose, space for genuine inner peace. And it is precisely this newfound internal space that provides the fertile ground for deep, sustainable growth to blossom. You cannot effectively construct a new, evolved version of yourself by merely layering it on top of the old, unexamined one. You must undertake the courageous act of stripping back the layers of who you have been pretending to be. This might necessitate the humbling admission that you are not as disciplined as you once believed. It could mean accepting that you have been chasing other people's approval for an excessively long period. It might even involve the profound act of forgiving yourself for the years you might have inadvertently wasted by playing small. And when you commit to this, when you finally cease hiding from your authentic truth, you liberate yourself. You transition from living a life dictated by default settings to consciously living a life meticulously designed by your own intent. The most powerful individuals encountered are rarely those who possess all the answers or have every aspect of life perfectly figured out. Rather, they are the ones who have dedicated substantial time and effort to deeply understanding who they are at their core and what truly drives them. They have actively made peace with their past experiences. They refuse to allow guilt or regret to dictate their present or future actions. They do not crave external validation from anyone because they have already provided that validation to themselves through profound self-awareness. This deep inner understanding is precisely what you need before 2026 arrives. Not an impossible standard of perfection, nor a fleeting state of constant external motivation, but a comprehensive grasp of your true identity and unwavering principles. Therefore, intentionally set aside the time. Sit quietly with yourself, engage in reflective journaling, take contemplative walks, practice meditation, or employ any other method that genuinely helps you hear your own unadulterated thoughts. Ask yourself probing questions. What am I actively avoiding? What am I genuinely afraid of losing if I truly commit to change? What does the absolute best version of me realistically look like? And critically, what would that evolved version of me categorically cease tolerating? These questions are far from easy. However, they constitute the foundational bedrock of your focused efforts, because it is impossible to genuinely focus on growth if you lack a clear understanding of your starting point. And here lies a profound secret that most people rarely disclose. When you finally achieve a deep and authentic understanding of yourself, the need for external motivation begins to wane significantly. You no longer require someone to constantly prod or push you because you have discovered your intrinsic why. You have meticulously cultivated a relationship with yourself that is founded on genuine respect, not on self-inflicted shame or external pressure. You begin undertaking actions not merely because you promised someone else you would, but because you intrinsically desire to, and not out of a fear of failing in the eyes of others. That unequivocally is true focus, that is genuine freedom. So before 2026 dawns, resist the impulse to immediately chase new external goals. Instead, prioritize the pursuit of self-awareness. Turn inward before you confidently move forward. For the more profoundly you understand yourself, the more effortlessly it becomes to meticulously design a life that authentically fits you, rather than one solely engineered to impress others. Cease running from your own reflection. Look it directly in the eyes and declare with resolute conviction, we have essential work to do. And then immediately begin doing it. Because once you truly know yourself, you inherently become unstoppable. A prevalent issue is the continuous waiting to feel ready. Many mistakenly believe that motivation serves as the starting line, when in reality, it is merely a fleeting spark that inevitably dissipates the moment challenges arise. If you are genuinely committed to enacting meaningful change before 2026, you must cease the pursuit of transient motivation and instead commence the profound work of building unshakable discipline. Motivation, by its very nature, is notoriously unreliable. Discipline, conversely, is steadfast and resilient. Motivation often manifests as that exhilarating high experienced after watching an inspiring video or listening to a powerful speech. You feel invigorated, seemingly unstoppable, and utterly convinced that this time will be different. Yet the following morning, when the alarm invariably sounds, that initial surge of excitement has often evaporated. You feel fatigued. The desire to engage in the task has diminished. This precise moment is where the majority of people concede defeat. Not because they are inherently incapable of the task, but because they are passively waiting for that elusive right feeling to return. And here's the crucial spoiler alert: it is not coming back. The individuals who genuinely transform their lives do not depend on feeling ready. They depend on showing up and diligently doing the work anyway. Discipline is the deliberate action that occurs when you make a firm decision that your long-term goals hold greater significance than your transient moods or fleeting desires. It is the mental muscle you meticulously build when you consistently act upon your commitments, irrespective of your emotional state. Many mistakenly assume that successful people possess an inherently higher degree of motivation. They do not. What distinguishes them is that they have rigorously trained themselves to take action even when it is inconvenient, utterly boring, or deeply uncomfortable. They have unlocked a profound secret: consistent action creates motivation, not the other way around. Every single instance you follow through on a commitment you made to yourself, even when you vehemently do not feel like it, you are meticulously building self-trust. And that self-trust, unequivocally, is everything. Because when you possess a deep trust in yourself, you cease negotiating with your internal excuses. You stop believing the deceptive lies that whisper, "I'll start tomorrow," or "It doesn't truly matter if I skip today." You begin to comprehend that every seemingly small choice, every minute decision, does indeed matter significantly. Those quiet, unassuming moments when no one else is observing, that is precisely where enduring success is meticulously forged. Here's an unvarnished truth: discipline is rarely glamorous. It does not generate highlight reels suitable for social media. Discipline is you rising early when your bed feels irresistibly warm and comfortable. It is consciously choosing to engage in your workout instead of mindlessly scrolling through your phone. It is intentionally setting down your device and diligently working on your deepest aspirations, even when no one is there to applaud your efforts. It is not exciting. It is, more often than not, repetitive. However, that very repetition is the potent force that systematically rewires your brain. That consistent repetition is what transforms your initial intentions into an ingrained identity. When you consistently live with discipline, you gradually cease needing constant external inspiration because your positive actions increasingly become automatic. You begin to actively crave the stability of consistency instead of the chaos of impulsive behavior. You stop being a passive victim of your own emotional fluctuations. You learn that the most profoundly powerful phrase you can utter to yourself is, "I'll do it anyway." Don't want to engage in physical exercise? Do it anyway. Don't feel inclined to outline that crucial plan? Do it anyway. Don't feel like showing up for your own well-being? Do it anyway. Each instance of anyway serves as a vital brick in the sturdy foundation of the remarkable person you are diligently becoming. The primary reason most individuals never quite reach their goals is that they approach motivation as if it were a finite battery. And the moment that battery dies, they simply stop. Discipline, conversely, functions as an internal generator. It continues to operate and produce results even when the initial spark of motivation has long faded. You must strategically construct systems and environments that render it practically impossible for you to rely solely on willpower, which is a limited resource. Optimally set up your environment for success. Proactively remove all potential distractions. Cultivate habits that are so inherently small and manageable that the very thought of failing to complete them feels utterly silly. You are not required to overhaul your entire life overnight. You merely need to consistently win the next hour, then the hour after that. Consider it from this perspective. Discipline acts as the crucial bridge connecting who you are in the present moment with the person you earnestly aspire to become. Every day you consciously choose to cross that bridge, it incrementally gains strength and resilience. Each time you honor a promise you've made to yourself, your self-confidence expands. And that burgeoning confidence then spills over beneficially into every other aspect of your life: your relationships, your career trajectory, your physical and mental health, and your overarching mindset. You begin to profoundly realize that you are capable of achieving far more than you ever previously credited yourself for. However, let's be unequivocally clear. Discipline does not equate to an unattainable state of perfection. You will at times inevitably veer off track. You might miss a scheduled day, you will make mistakes, and that in itself is entirely acceptable. Discipline is not about maintaining a flawless record. It is fundamentally about the unwavering commitment to never truly quitting. When you falter, the mark of true discipline is to recover and get back on track with increased speed. You do not squander precious time engaging in self-recrimination or dwelling on perceived failures. You simply begin anew, because one challenging day does not erase the sum total of your accumulated progress. Quitting, however, most certainly does. Therefore, before 2026, cease the passive waiting for motivation to miraculously strike. It is not coming. You do not require a sudden lightning bolt of dramatic inspiration. What you fundamentally need is to initiate one small, consistently disciplined act. Get up precisely when you say you will. Fulfill the promise you made to yourself last week. Follow through, just once, and you will distinctly perceive it. That subtle shift, that tiny quiet spark of pride that resonates, I did it. That precisely is how you meticulously build unstoppable momentum. Discipline is self-respect made manifest through action. It is you proving to yourself that your word holds profound meaning. It signifies that you are not the kind of person who gives up the moment things become inconvenient. It affirms that you are not the same version of yourself who perennially resolves to start over at the beginning of each year. This time, you are not passively waiting for an ephemeral feeling. You are actively creating an enduring habit. When 2026 eventually arrives, you will look back and profoundly realize that the very days you didn't feel like showing up were precisely the days that most powerfully defined you. That is when you meticulously cultivated true grit. That is when you forged unyielding character. That is when you ceased relying on external hype and began instead to profoundly rely on yourself. So, do not delay for motivation. Embody the kind of individual who acts without it, the kind of person who resolutely does it anyway. Because that precisely is the critical distinction between merely wishing for change and truly becoming the change. And that profound distinction, that unwavering discipline, is exactly what will unequivocally make 2026 your strongest, most transformative year yet. You have dedicated a considerable portion of your life to consistently placing everyone else first, their needs, their stringent timelines, their often unspoken expectations. You have assumed the role of the dependable one, the problem solver, the person who tirelessly endeavors to keep everything seamlessly cohesive. But I implore you, answer honestly, when was the last time you extended that same fervent energy and dedication to yourself? When did you last genuinely treat your own inner peace, your own deepest dreams, as a paramount priority rather than a mere afterthought? Because if your ambition is to instigate genuine and lasting transformation before the onset of 2026, you must critically learn to differentiate between authentic selflessness and detrimental self-sacrifice. From an early age, many of us are subtly conditioned to believe that prioritizing ourselves is inherently selfish and that there is inherent nobility in constantly giving, always agreeing, and perpetually being available for others. Yet, here is a profound truth that few are willing to acknowledge. Relentlessly pouring your energy into others while systematically neglecting your own well-being is not kindness. It is an unsustainable path to depletion. You simply cannot effectively pour from a cup that is perpetually empty. And yet, an alarming number of us navigate life feeling utterly drained, perpetually wondering why we experience resentment, a sense of being lost, or even invisible. You cannot possibly construct your finest life if you continually abandon yourself in the very process of attempting to do so. Focusing on yourself does not imply a cessation of caring for others. It fundamentally signifies that you are finally commencing the vital practice of caring for yourself too. It means establishing clear and protective boundaries that safeguard your energy rather than passively allowing everyone else to dictate how you spend it. It entails the courageous act of saying no to opportunities or requests that do not genuinely serve your personal growth, even if that no might momentarily disappoint others. For the undeniable truth is, if your inner peace is perpetually disrupted to maintain the comfort of others, you are, in essence, living someone else's life script, not your own unique narrative. Let's ground ourselves in reality for a moment. You have been extensively told to hustle, to help, to meticulously handle every conceivable situation, and somewhere amidst this relentless external focus, you inadvertently forgot that you are inherently permitted to occupy your rightful space. You are permitted to rest. You are unequivocally permitted to prioritize your mental health, your personal goals, and your profound happiness. You are permitted to declare with conviction, "This time it is about me." This declaration does not render you cold or unkind. It simply makes you profoundly aware. For the version of you that consistently assents to everyone else's demands is the very same version that invariably says no to your own burgeoning potential. Consider this crucial point. Every single time you choose to place yourself last, you inadvertently transmit a powerful message to your own subconscious mind. I don't truly matter. And your mind, in its earnest attempt to protect you, believes it. This is precisely why you begin to erode self-trust. This is why procrastination, self-doubt, and hesitation become your habitual companions. Because deep within, you have systematically taught yourself that everyone else's priorities inherently supersede your own. This detrimental pattern will only be broken when you unequivocally decide that you are worthy of your own focused attention. You do not require external permission to diligently care for yourself. You do not need anyone's approval to choose your own inner peace. You simply need to make the profound decision that you are finished betraying your authentic self for the superficial sake of being liked. The moment you initiate the profound practice of prioritizing yourself, everything around you begins to shift. Your energy signature transforms. Your personal standards elevate. You cease futilely chasing individuals who only ever show up halfway. You stop apologizing for occupying your rightful time and space. You cease feeling compelled to explain why you require a break, why you are saying no, or why you are consciously disengaging from situations that systematically drain you. Because when you unequivocally know your intrinsic worth, you cease negotiating it with anyone. And yes, people will inevitably notice this profound change. Some will undoubtedly express pride and support for your transformation. Others, conversely, may not fully comprehend or approve. And that, fundamentally, is perfectly acceptable. You are not undertaking this journey for their benefit. You are undertaking it because the life you genuinely desire, a life rich with peace, confidence, and clarity, does not exist in a version of yourself that is perpetually overextended and depleted. It resides instead in the version of you who intuitively knows how to choose yourself without succumbing to guilt. Reflect deeply on this. When you diligently take care of yourself, you inherently show up more effectively and authentically for everyone else anyway. When you are adequately rested, firmly grounded, and genuinely confident, you possess significantly more to offer, not less. You become more patient, more intensely focused, and more authentically present. The individuals who genuinely cherish and love you will undoubtedly perceive the positive difference. They will discern that you are not withdrawing from them. You are simply, finally, anchoring yourself before the dawn of 2026. Before the new year, I implore you to make a profound promise to yourself that you will cease apologizing for prioritizing your fundamental well-being, that you will stop allowing insidious guilt to subtly talk you out of practicing self-respect, that you will stop relegating your essential needs to the very bottom of your list as if they were optional. They are not optional, they are in fact absolutely essential, because the vibrant life you are dreaming about is meticulously constructed upon the foundational pillars of self-awareness and self-worth. This is your urgent wake-up call to cease passively waiting for someone else to grant you permission to rest, to grow, or to enact meaningful change. No one is coming to rescue you from the profound burnout you have inadvertently created by ceaselessly attempting to please every single person around you. You must embark on the courageous journey of saving yourself. You must consciously choose to become your own paramount priority. This might necessitate taking a temporary break from certain individuals or relationships. It could involve bravely letting go of obligations that systematically deplete your energy and spirit. It might even demand sitting with the profound discomfort of disappointing others, but you will survive it. And when you do, you will unearth a truly powerful realization. The world does not in fact crumble when you prioritize yourself. It simply and beautifully rearranges itself around your newly established protective boundaries. So, before the clock definitively strikes 2026, take a candid look at your life and earnestly ask, where have I been actively neglecting myself? Where have I been settling for less, overgiving to the point of exhaustion, or intentionally dimming my own light merely to ensure others' comfort? And then make an unwavering promise to yourself, not to anyone else, but solely to yourself, that those particular days are unequivocally over, because you inherently deserve a life that does not consistently demand your inner peace as its cost. This transformative journey is not about becoming selfish. It is about the profound process of becoming whole. It is about learning that you are not obligated to burn yourself out to prove your inherent worth. It is about realizing that your happiness, your growth trajectory, and your vital energy all matter profoundly. And when you finally dedicate your focus to yourself without an ounce of guilt, everything in your sphere begins to beautifully realign. You will attract more fulfilling relationships, more meaningful opportunities, and a deeper, more abiding sense of peace. So go forth and unequivocally make yourself the absolute priority for 2026, not because the external world dictates it, but because deep within your core, you inherently know it is time. You have expended enough years tirelessly showing up for everyone else. Now it is unequivocally your turn. This is the sacred season where you transcend mere survival and begin the profound process of honoring yourself. Because the single most powerful action you can undertake for the world, and indeed for your own magnificent future, is to diligently take care of the precious person you gaze upon in the mirror. The regrettable truth is that most individuals never truly reach their full potential because they are perpetually waiting for a definitive sign, waiting for explicit permission, waiting for someone external to decisively declare, yes, you are capable of achieving this. But allow me to impart a crucial understanding. No one is coming to grant you explicit permission to authentically live your own life. You must resolutely cease passively waiting for someone else to validate your deepest dreams, your chosen timing, or your personal decisions. The metaphorical door you have been steadfastly staring at, patiently waiting for someone else to graciously open it, has in fact been unlocked the entire time. You simply have not yet summoned the profound courage to turn the handle yourself. If your earnest desire is for 2026 to unfold differently, you must stop seeking external approval to embody the person you already inherently are. You must cease exhaustively explaining your choices to individuals who, frankly, would not comprehend your unique vision, even if you meticulously drew them a detailed map. You do not require their proverbial green light. You, yourself, are the green light. And until you fully internalize this powerful truth, you will continue to play small, perpetually waiting for an invitation to a life that is already entirely yours to meticulously build and create. Here's an undeniable fact. Nobody understands what is genuinely best for you better than you do yourself. Others can certainly offer advice, and they can assuredly share their opinions, their personal experiences, and their cautionary tales. However, when all is said and done, they are not the ones who will ultimately live with the profound consequences of your decisions. Only you will. So, why would you consciously grant them the immense power to subtly steal segments of your life Why persist in postponing your crucial goals, your invaluable peace, and your profound happiness simply because someone else might not approve? That existence is not living, it is merely performing. And performing for external validation is, by its very nature, utterly exhausting. The undeniable truth is that we have been systematically conditioned to wait for permission since our earliest childhood, from teachers, parents, bosses, and society at large. We were meticulously trained to seek external validation before initiating any significant action. However, that deeply ingrained conditioning no longer serves your highest good. You are an adult now. You do not require permission to dream on a grander scale, to courageously start over, to confidently say no, to strategically change directions, or to gracefully walk away from situations or people that no longer genuinely align with your authentic self. You do not require permission to occupy your rightful space or to desire more than what you have been passively given. The only thing you truly need is the profound courage to unequivocally back yourself, even in moments when no one else does. Every single time you hold yourself back due to the fear of what others might think, you willingly surrender a piece of your inherent power. Every time you choose to remain silent when your voice unequivocally deserves to be heard, you subtly teach yourself that your perspective doesn't truly matter. And every time you intentionally shrink your magnificent dreams to accommodate the comfort levels of others, you reinforce the detrimental belief that you are not permitted to take the lead role in your own life's narrative. This stops now, because truthfully, the very people whose disappointment you so deeply fear are, more often than not, too engrossed in their own lives to be dwelling on yours for any significant duration. Cease waiting for the elusive perfect time. It simply does not exist. Stop waiting to feel ready. That feeling often won't arrive before you begin. Stop waiting for everyone else to fully comprehend your journey. They likely won't. What you possess right now, in this very moment, is entirely sufficient to commence. And the instant you initiate action, the path ahead begins to gradually reveal itself. Action inherently creates clarity. Confidence is not a prerequisite for action. Rather, it is a direct consequence of doing. You will never be presented with the complete, detailed plan upfront, and crucially, you do not need it. You merely need to trust that if you take one bold, intentional step, the subsequent one will invariably make itself manifest. You must grasp this fundamental principle. Your dream, whatever its unique manifestation, was bestowed upon you for a profound reason. It was not given to your parents, your friends, or your partner. It was given to you. This inherent truth means it is not their responsibility to believe in it. It is unequivocally yours. Far too many individuals are passively sitting on brilliant ideas, significant goals, and burning passions because they are waiting for someone else to affirm, "That's a good idea." However, true greatness does not emerge from the pursuit of external permission. It blossoms from the unwavering commitment to show up and perform the work even when no one is applauding your efforts. It arises from cultivating a profound belief in yourself long before the external world ever does. You might experience fear. You might feel a profound sense of uncertainty. And that in itself is entirely acceptable. Fear does not serve as an instruction to stop. It signals an opportunity for growth and indicates that you are on the cusp of significant expansion. If you are passively waiting for fear to completely dissipate before you act, you will, regrettably, be waiting forever. Courage is not defined by the absence of fear. It is the resolute act of moving forward powerfully in spite of it. That is precisely how you forge genuine, unshakable confidence, not through superficial praise or external approval, but through consistent, intentional action. Here is what I want you to deeply internalize before 2026. No one else possesses the inherent authority to dictate who you can become. The opinions of others are, at their core, merely noise, unless you consciously choose to imbue them with power over your life. The individuals who truly transform their lives are those who cease asking, "Can I?" and instead, with powerful conviction, begin declaring, "Watch me." You do not owe anyone an elaborate explanation for choosing to prioritize yourself. You do not require a committee vote or external consensus to pursue your deepest aspirations. The only permission slip you fundamentally need is the one you personally write for yourself, and it only requires one crucial signature, yours. Therefore, proactively give yourself permission to bravely take the risk, to begin with incredibly small, manageable steps, to inevitably make mistakes, and to courageously begin again when necessary. Grant yourself permission to unequivocally say no to opportunities or commitments that do not genuinely align with your desired future. To gracefully walk away from individuals or situations that systematically drain your precious energy. To courageously outgrow the version of yourself that has been perpetually begging for external approval. You do not need to tirelessly prove your inherent worth to anyone. You already possess it in abundance. And when you finally cease passively waiting for permission, you will perceive something truly powerful unfold. Life itself begins to expansively open up to you. Opportunities will emerge in spaces where fear once resided. You will cease second-guessing yourself and instead begin to implicitly trust your own intuitive instincts. You will transition from living a life dictated by default settings to consciously living a life meticulously designed by your own choosing. That, profoundly, is what true freedom genuinely feels like. So, before the advent of 2026, cease waiting to be chosen. Instead, proactively choose yourself. Choose your personal growth. Choose your unique path, because no one else is truly qualified to make that paramount decision for you. The life you earnestly desire does not begin when others grant their approval. It commences the precise moment you say yes to yourself. You find yourself habitually saying, someday. Someday I will finally begin. Someday I will enact that significant change. Someday I will feel completely ready. But here is the fundamental reality. Someday is a comforting lie we tell ourselves to maintain our current state of ease. It is a subtle mental trick, a convenient method to indefinitely delay the demanding, often uncomfortable work and momentarily silence the persistent whisper of guilt. You do not need someday, you profoundly need now. Because every single instance you defer your dreams, your physical and mental health, your inner peace, or your crucial goals into an unspecified future, you are inadvertently sending a powerful, detrimental message to yourself. I'm not ready. I'm not worthy yet. And that message is unequivocally untrue. You are ready. You simply haven't yet made the decisive choice to act. If you persist in waiting for the elusive perfect moment, you will, regrettably, wait forever. There will invariably always be some perceived obstacle. The timing feels wrong, there isn't sufficient money, you're experiencing too much stress, or you lack enough confidence. Life does not decelerate its pace to allow you to leisurely catch up. It relentlessly keeps moving forward. Therefore, if you earnestly desire to witness profound change before 2026, you must cease waiting for the stars to miraculously align and instead proactively begin constructing your own alignment through consistent intentional action. Because nothing genuinely changes until you actively do. Starting now does not necessitate a complete overhaul of your entire life overnight. It signifies undertaking one small, purposeful action today, an action that incrementally moves you closer to embodying the person you aspire to be. The journey is not about executing giant, dramatic leaps. It is fundamentally about taking consistent, deliberate steps. You do not need to have every single detail meticulously figured out before you commence. You simply need to begin. Reflect deeply on this. The version of yourself you envision, the one who radiates confidence, embodies discipline, and feels profoundly fulfilled. That person did not arrive at that state merely by contemplative thought. They reached it by courageously acting before they felt entirely ready. You might have convinced yourself that you will start when you acquire more time. But here's an undeniable truth about time management. You always make time for what you genuinely prioritize. You invariably find time for everyone else's problems, for mindlessly scrolling through digital feeds, and for various distractions, but curiously, not for your own progress. That isn't an actual lack of time. It is, more accurately, a profound lack of focused priority. Starting now is, in its essence, a profound act of self-respect. It is you asserting, I matter enough to cease passively waiting. Allow me to share a profound insight regarding momentum. It is an incredibly powerful force. Once you initiate action, even in the smallest, most unassuming way, you fundamentally shift your internal energy. You prove to yourself through tangible evidence that you are indeed capable. You effectively reclaim control from the clutches of your excuses. This is precisely why the initial step is almost invariably the most challenging, not because it is inherently complicated, but because it courageously breaks the entrenched cycle of procrastination. Once you move forward even an inch, your brain begins to internalize the belief, I can genuinely do this. And that nascent belief serves as the vital spark that ignites everything else into motion. The central problem is that most individuals passively wait to feel like doing something, but that feeling, more often than not, will not magically appear. You will almost never feel perfectly enthusiastic about starting. You will never feel 100% confident or entirely prepared. This is not how genuine transformation operates. You must actively commence before the desired feeling arrives, because action is the precursor and motivation is its subsequent follower. It is the doing that meticulously generates the energy, not the other way around. Do you know what is arguably scarier than simply starting now? It is gazing back a year from this moment and profoundly realizing how much further you could have advanced if you had only taken that initial step. Imagine standing on the precipice of 2026, burdened by the thought, I squandered yet another year waiting to feel entirely ready. That particular brand of regret stings deeply, and the sole antidote to avoiding such regret is to resolutely take action today. Not next week, not after the upcoming holidays, not when life eventually slows down. Today. Starting now does not demand fearlessness. It means bravely doing it with fear as your companion. It means consciously acknowledging the gnawing doubt, the nervous jitters, the profound uncertainty, and yet resolutely moving forward anyway. You are not required to visualize the entire staircase. You simply need to summon the courage to take the very first step. That, precisely, is how authentic progress genuinely unfolds. Every grand success you have ever admired began as a small, somewhat awkward and profoundly uncertain beginning. But someone, at a critical juncture, made the decisive choice to stop waiting and to simply start doing. And here is the beautiful, liberating aspect of starting now. You do not require external permission, an elusive state of perfection, or a meticulously carved-in-stone plan. You simply need momentum. You retain the freedom to adjust your course as you progress. You can pivot, learn from your experiences, and elegantly evolve. The initial step does not irrevocably lock you into a rigid path. It simply gets you moving forward. You do not need to have every single detail prefigured. You just need to stop remaining perfectly still. So, ask yourself, in this very moment, what is the one thing you have been habitually putting off? Is it a crucial project, a commitment to consistent exercise, the establishment of a vital boundary, a long overdue conversation, or a cherished dream? Whatever it may be, understand that it is not passively waiting for you. It is subtly fading with each passing day. Every day you fail to act, the fear associated with it grows stronger, and your inherent confidence proportionally shrinks. But conversely, every day you do act, that fear incrementally weakens, and your self-belief powerfully expands. Here is what you must profoundly understand. The future you earnestly desire is not constructed in some grand singular moment of dramatic inspiration. It is meticulously built in the multitude of small ordinary moments where you consciously choose to act instead of delay. It is forged every single time you silence the insidious voice that whispers later and decisively replace it with now. These consistent moments accumulate and compound. They organically transform into deeply ingrained habits, and those sustained habits in turn become the very engine of your personal transformation. Cease declaring that you will begin when you acquire the perfect mindset. The transformative mindset is cultivated after you initiate action. Stop passively waiting for external support. People will invariably show up once they perceive that you are truly serious about your endeavors. Stop waiting for confidence to miraculously appear. Confidence is diligently built through consistent, repetitive action. The only genuine barrier standing between your current self and the magnificent version of yourself you aspire to be in 2026 is the lack of consistent, albeit imperfect action. So, before this year concludes, make this unwavering promise to yourself. No more passive waiting, no more debilitating overthinking, no more allowing fear to cunningly disguise itself as diligent preparation. Start small, start messy, start even if you are profoundly scared. Just start. Because 6 months from now, you will undoubtedly express profound gratitude to yourself for every tiny, awkward, and uncertain step you courageously take today. There is no mythical perfect moment arriving in the future. There is only this one, this very moment. And if you intentionally utilize it, if you approach it with the gravity it deserves, it possesses the immense power to change absolutely everything. The clock is indeed ticking, but not in a manner that should induce fear. Rather, it should powerfully empower you, because time will inevitably pass regardless of your actions. The fundamental question is simply this: will you still be wishing for change, or will you be actively building it? Start now. Even if you do not feel entirely ready, even if you possess no clear idea of how it will all ultimately unfold, because every truly great story, every profound transformation begins with a singular, resolute decision. I am done waiting. And that powerful decision, that now, is precisely where your new extraordinary life truly begins.